planning. These are the kinds of high-level decisions that I have to make on a fairly regular basis. Thinking I might nap out for a little while. Hi, I'm Sock Marionette, also known as Bargain Counter Argument, under which name I am available on Instagram. I'm a middle-aged lady in a tiara, talking about books, libraries, and related topics. Today's exciting for me because it's a Tiara debut. This is the vibe. Hopefully it's not too bright in ambient light for you to see this gorgeous pale purple that I received in a Discord gift exchange from my pal Paige. And when I asked for tiaras, I said that anybody who sent me a tiara could assign a book for me to read, anything they wanted, they wanted me to read and discuss on YouTube while debuting the tiara they gave me. And a lot of people were saying things like, oh, well, I'm not sure what book I should recommend for you or what you might like. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be a book you think I'll like. It could be a book you think I won't like and you want me to hate read. I'm down for that. But people did make a good faith effort to find something that they thought I would like or that they wanted to share. And that was certainly the case with Paige. She suggested this book because the author is a particular favorite of hers. And she says she just wants to share these stories with more people. And she said it's more on the women's fiction side rather than, say, romance, and also has magical realism and whimsy. These are all things I very much enjoy, so I'm looking forward to reading it. And I have it on my library shelf here. It is just off camera planning, and it is called Garden Spells, and it's by Sarah Addison Allen. And I have the large print edition, so if the cover doesn't look familiar, that's why. I forgot to look up to see what the standard edition cover looks like. And because I shelve my library books according to height, yeah, that's how all the serious bibliophiles do it. It ended up between Dark Restraint by Katie Roberts and Grimstone by Sophie Lark, and I'm pretty sure that that is a case of just aesthetics make for some strange bedfellows. Now, I'm going to read the back. I kind of glanced at the back when I picked it up, but beyond that, I haven't, so this is a cold read. Ooh, those are always exciting, aren't they? The Waverleys have always been a curious family, outsiders in their hometown of Bascom, North Carolina. Even their garden has a reputation, famous for its prophetic fruit and edible flowers, imbued with special powers. Generations of Waverleys tended this garden. Their history was in the soil. But so is their future. So were their futures. Cold reading. A successful caterer, Claire Waverley prepares dishes made with her mystical plants. She and her elderly cousin, Evanelle, are the last of the Waverleys, except for Claire's rebellious sister, Sydney, who fled Bascom the moment she could. When Sydney suddenly returns home, Claire's quiet life is turned upside down. Together they must deal with their common legacy if they are ever to feel at home in Bascom, or with each other. Enchanting and heartfelt, this novel is sure to cast a spell with a style all its own. And on Instagram, I pair books with scented candles because I read a lot and I have a lot of scented candles. And this one is a candle I've used before called In the Garden. It's from a manufacturer called DW Home Candles. And it smells... it kind of smells like grass and mint, maybe a hint of parsley. It's really, really nice. It's very minty and very, very nice. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to vlog the reading experience. I was going to go out and do some stuff today, but then I found out I didn't have to. And so it's just going to be a quiet day at home, enjoying my new tiara and my book. See you at the next update. So I am now a quarter of the way through Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen, and I'm really enjoying it. I will say that it is I had a little bit of a mood shift. I didn't quite know what to expect, but I had a little bit of a mood shift because um, I was falling into the rhythm of this story in this sort of small southern town and the rhythms of small town life. And then suddenly we go from Claire to her sister in Seattle, who is in an abusive relationship. A bit of a surprise because everything was just like so unfolding, sleepy, slow, southern small town life, and then suddenly abusive relationship. I will give a spoiler and say that it was described as the Sydney who was in the abusive relationship. She was thinking about what that had been like as she was leaving that relationship. So it's not an ongoing situation, although there is some tension because there is a concern that when she goes to North Carolina, her abusive partner might actually track her down or something. That's a little bit of suspense there. So it is now 20 minutes to 12, and I think I didn't give a time check when I recorded that first clip. I think it was probably around 10:15, somewhere along there. And since then, I haven't done much except read. Did a couple of things around, but nothing big. Anyway, so now I'm getting a little peckish, even though I had breakfast fairly late. I didn't eat breakfast until it was around 9, and it's only 2.5 hours later. I am a little peckish, but maybe I'm just thirsty because sometimes when I'm thirsty, that makes me feel like I'm hungry, but no, I'm really just thirsty. I had a coffee, which I finished. I got one of my purple mugs to go with my purple tiara and my purple jewelry, which I already had and which coordinates, I think, quite well with the tiara. And I'm trying to decide if I just want to get something to drink or see if there's any interest in lunch. Maybe I'll go out and get the mail, and maybe I'll fix a salad so we have that later for when we do have lunch. These are the kinds of high-level decisions that I have to make on a fairly regular basis. Yeah. So I'm going to go see what there is to see downstairs and then come back up and do some more reading. Important life updates. I went downstairs and I got the mail, which was just not not terribly important, but I don't like to leave it to pile up. And I took the camera with me for a field trip to beautiful downtown My Kitchen, where I made salads, which is why my hair is back, because I was food prep. I like to tie it back for that. Hopefully the B-roll turned out okay, because it'll be here if it did. Okay, so I blew out my candle when I left, of course, because I didn't want to leave it unattended. Ooh, the lighter needs to be recharged. Yes. We're back in business. And I picked up something to drink, although it looks like we'll be eating. It's a little after noon now. It's like 5 minutes past noon. It looks like we'll be eating sooner rather than later because I wasn't the only one who was getting peckish. So I got some ice and a lemon wedge because it was easier to carry it upstairs in separate pieces. I have my ice and my lemon wedge and my Summit Diet Cola, which is the store brand at Aldi. So that's my beverage check. So I'm going to go back to reading and probably going to eat lunch in about half an hour, or at least start cooking. I made the salads. We're going to have that with some bratwurst and some mashed potatoes with cheddar and chive. Okay, I'm back from lunch. I never know if my tiara looks askew because my hair is asymmetrical. It feels like it's on correctly. So we had the bratwurst and the sour cream chive cheddar potatoes, and a garden salad, which is the one I had already made. It was good, and now it was good, but it was very filling. So now I'm next to the food tree and going, food. I don't want to think about food. But I'm in my sitting room now because after that delicious but somewhat heavy lunch, I'm kind of thinking I might nap out for a little while. So I thought I'd come in here and hang out on the couch while I read some more. I'm about halfway through uh Garden Spells now, and it's lovely. It's just really, really nice, and but without being insipid. Like, it's not sickly sweet. It's just really nice. It's like a it's like having just a really nice cup of mint tea. Or because it takes place in the summer, maybe you would prefer iced mint tea as opposed to warm mint tea, but that's what it makes me think of, mint tea, in a good way. I like mint tea. So yeah, I'm really into it, and I brought my candle into this room with me. I, of course, had it out while I was downstairs with lunch, because don't want to leave these things unattended. It's not a good idea. So that's, again, it's in the garden, which does have a hint of mint, so yeah. So now it is time to sprawl out on the couch and see where the afternoon takes me. I will update you when I'm 3/4 of the way through the book. Okay, I am now 3/4 of the way through Garden Spells, and it's delightful. It's like it's like having lunch with an old friend, and it's just really, really nice. I went downstairs to take my Instagram photo for my book candle pairings, and while I was down there, I poked around in the tea drawer. We did not have any mint tea, at least not that I could find particularly easily. However, we did have some caffeine-free herbal tea that is black cherry flavored. And it smells really nice, but it's very hot. But I am having it in this special mug, which is from the Biltmore Estate in North Carolina, in Asheville, where my mom and I once had a nice trip there. We actually stayed in the adjacent hotel, and we had a fancy dinner, and it was really good. And so I do have my North Carolina mug. And in honor of the the black cherry tree, I do have these black cherry tea, I should say. I have these cherries on the I have the cherries on the food tree. I have the glass ones, and then oops, got them a little too close to the eggplants. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. And these little wood fruits, I don't know if those are cherries or apples. I choose to believe they're cherries because of their size, but I mean, I don't know. So I like cherries. I like apples. Apples, though, are much more of a fruit of interest in this. On the prophetic fruit in the garden, they are apples. And I do have some nice apples. These nice, I think that's cloisonne apples. I have a gold one as well, but I could not get it off the tree. I have this red one. And I just, there's some wonderful quotes in here, and it's not my book, so I haven't annotated them. Well, here's a here's a passage describing the reservoir where everybody in town like goes there and hangs out, and the teenagers go there at night to like skinny dip and make out and whatnot. But they're going there in the afternoon. Lunsford's reservoir was located in the 90 acres of thick woods passed down through a long line of lazy Lunsfords. It was too much trouble to try to keep people away from the reservoir, and the maintenance would be too much hassle if they turned it into a park. And this was the rural South, so they'd be damned if they sold their family land, or worse, gave it to the government. So they posted no trespassing signs everyone ignored and left it at that. It's lovely. And then the character Fred, who is the local grocer, is talking to Aunt Evanel. I believe she mentioned, yeah, elderly cousin Evanel, that was mentioned in the summary. And Fred is thinking, this old woman was his hero, no doubt about it. You are who you are, whether you like it or not, so why not like it? So, yeah. So he invites her. He says, I would be honored, Evanel, to make you dinner tonight, an invitation only affair. With a laugh, she put her arm in his. Well, aren't you the one? I don't feel very confident about my southern accent, so I'm not going to try to do it. So, but anyway, it's just a charming book, and I am so glad that Paige recommended this for me. So now I'm going to read the last quarter of the book and have my tea and my candle, and I will update you when I'm done. Okay, I just finished Garden Spells. Just read it. Just read it. You won't be sorry. Just unless you don't want to read those bits that are about domestic violence, then otherwise just read it. You will not be unhappy that you did. And this means that it's time to get cracking on editing, which is something I'm normally not. It's not that I don't like editing, because I kind of do, but it's not always the thing that I want to start editing as soon as I finished a book, but I do want to watch back those clips of me reading the book because it was just such a good experience. So thank you for the Tiara and the recommendation. Spot on with both. Yeah, so I really don't have anything else to say except that I just feel delighted and buoyant, and I have just a smidge bit of tea left. So, oh, and it turned out I assume that the town in the book is fictitious, but it turns out it's actually not too far from Asheville. So this was a very apt cup to use. So yeah, just that was a great experience. That was a wonderful way to spend my Saturday, and yeah. I I can't even like bring myself to remember what I usually say. Yeah. Like, comment, share, subscribe, read this book, or don't. I am not the boss of you. So have a great day or night.